kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome everybody into Sim Racing Media tonight. The drivers of the Moonshiners Racing League take on Atlanta Motor Speedway. I am Mike Demoni up in the booth. Joined with me this time is Daniel Paulus. Daniel, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. We're here at Atlanta. I'm very excited. We're going to see a lot of moves going on in this race.
Yeah, definitely the new Atlanta. They decided to change the banking from 24 degrees to 28. They also narrowed the track from 55 feet to 40 feet. So got that little super speedway action going on. Last week we were at Daytona, and the race was won by Chad Sullivan. Chad ran a heck of a race, wound up there at the end. Barry Sanders finished second, and Aaron Matthews back in third. But the point standings, before they get rolling in qualifying here, let's take a look at those real quick. They did get points for the duels. They got points for Daytona as well. So Alex Coffey is actually going to be the points leader. Steven Gibson second, Hunter Carmichael in third, now Nigel Christensen in fourth, and Chad Sullivan winds up fifth in points, but it's only a 14-point gap. So that's where they start tonight. We're going to see where they finish as these guys get ready and roll through their qualifying runs here. Out on track first is going to be Jeff Carson.
You're going to see these drivers use different lanes here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway. We will see drivers go all the way down to the apron, all the way up to as close as to the outside wall as possible. But Mike, if you get up there too close to the outside wall, you're gonna get in those marbles, and there's not a lot of grip around that part of the track, and that could easily send you into the wall and cost you a lot of positions. So you want to be very careful when you're using that top line.
Yeah, Kyle Holden there with a 31.21 for his first 2 laps. Hunter Carmichael rolling through. His second lap was a 31.23. Paul Whitley's up here with a 31.27. You got Chris James with a 31.35. Alex Coffey in that 15 Toyota 31.26 as he rolls on by. These guys definitely are putting in a lot of work. Had them running through practice quite a bit. They get an hour of practice. Some guys ran as much as 60 laps here. You see Alex pull off the track. Nigel Christensen with a 31.40. Kane Lee a 31.54. Looks like Matt Hawks is up there with a 31.21 as well. So these guys definitely are going to be close together as they battle through here at the Super Speedway of Atlanta. The other thing you're going to want to watch is that red line. They don't want to go below it, especially to advance their position, as I believe Super Speedway rules are in effect here.
You cannot go below that line. If so, you will get penalized.
Kenny Coppola with a 31.34. Paul Gallimore up there with a 31.31 as his second lap. Chris Spear 31.29. Nick King finished his first lap with a 31.52. Probably see that 24 Chevy go a little bit faster on the second run.
And there's one thing that we're gonna watch throughout this race is drivers bump drafting each other, going out of these turns, heading on the front and back straightaway. And one thing you want to look out for, Mike, is these drivers, when they're bump drafting, you do not want to push in the corners or coming off of the corner, because if you push one little bit at the wrong time, or you push on the wrong side of the corner panel, it could send them right around, and that could cause a really big crash, which most of these drivers don't want to happen to them.
Yeah, definitely. As you saw, Nick King finish his second lap with a 31.38. Everybody's pretty close together here. You got a 31.21 on the pole. Right now, sitting last after making 2 qualifying laps is only a 31.88. So not too much time separating all of the drivers on track, and that's 30 drivers separated there as Barry Sanders finishes his second lap with a 31.28, so it goes up inside the top 10 on his second lap. Got a few drivers left to go. There's already 32 that have made their qualifying bids. We got, I'm going to say, about 10 or 11 left here, as it looks like Ryan Huff is getting ready to pull off, as is Chris Davis. Chris Davis did win the Clash at Daytona. Didn't have quite the week to follow, but nonetheless, he is here at Atlanta looking to get that 29 machine going in the right direction here as he goes up to the wall, tries to get as much speed into that ride as he can. Maybe we can jump inside the cockpit here as he drives around Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just see how close he gets to the wall. He wants to stay up there, try and build as much speed as he can on this first lap. Then on the second lap, he's going to turn down and get right on that red line and try and take the shortest way around the track here. Comes by the start-finish line. That lap, probably nothing spectacular. Yeah, 31.94. Ryan Huff with a 32.13. So we should see him pick it up a little bit more the second lap as he's headed down the backstretch once again.
And we are in the middle of qualifying right now. But Mike, if you're qualifying, no matter if you're up front, in the back, in the middle, are you safe anywhere, or do you just want to, you know, go for it and hope that you don't get into a wreck here tonight?
I don't know that you're really safe anywhere here at Atlanta. It's just like this, like other super speedways. Action can happen nearly anywhere here, as these guys are finishing up their qualifying run here. Looks like we got about 2.5 minutes left. If anybody else is going to jump out on track. Looks like Caden Nofree's thinking about it here in that
and there he
20
goes.
Toyota. But no, I've watched enough races to know that really nowhere's safe. We saw these guys last week, and it seemed up front was relatively safe, so they might be thinking that's where they want to be for the first part of this race. We are going 63 laps. They have 5 sets of tires. Stage brakes are going to be at lap 40 and 80, so they know at least where 2 of the stops are going to be here.
As the 20 crosses the line here, see what lines he runs. He's going to run that high groove there, Mike. It's something about the high groove that gives that momentum to these drivers.
As he lost it coming loose out of 2.
Wow, that's going to hurt his lap there.
Yeah, he won't have enough speed to get rolling once again here. If we can. This is going to work here. Yep. Kyle Holden is still on the pole right at the moment. Brandon Bikey, though, he was on the pole for basically every race last week. So we'll see how that's going to work out here, as he's got a 32.01 for his first time by. And drive it in deep here. Try and stay down on the track, make the shortest way around.
And he's going to cut it as close as possible. And he clocks in at 12th place here for Brandon.
Yeah, 31.28. So going to have a lot of drivers sitting at about that mark here. I mean, the first 15 are separated by 1/10 of a second, so definitely something to look out for here as they get ready to jump over to the race session. Let these guys get into their cars here. There we go. Bring up the grid real quick. We got Kyle Holden starting on the pole. Matt Cox down on his out on his outside. Tim Wortman Jr. and Hunter Carmichael make up row 2. Row 3, Alex Coffey and Blaine Wilson. Ryan Huff and Paul Whitley. Jeff Chandler and Kendall LeBron back there in row 5. Barry Sanders and Brandon Bikey make up row 6. Go on back to 13th is Chris Spear, with 14th being Kane Lee. We go back to Paul Gallimore and Stephen Gibson in row 8. Row 9, Chad Sullivan and Terry Atwood. Nicholas Atwood and Jamison Middlemiss make up row 10. And then we go to Chris Davis and Kenny Coppola. Watch that 77 machine work his way through the field here. Chris James, Justin Bellamonte, 23rd, 24th. We got Randy Mullins. He ran pretty well last week at Daytona. Jordan Schmeetz back there as well. Jeff Carson and Nick King. And then we have Jared Clark and Shane Davis in row 15. Row 16 is Darren Mullins and Nigel Christensen. And then we got Darren Mills and Dean Motley In row 17, row 18, Johnny Shade and Aaron Matthews. Warren Young and John Bender make up 37th, 38th. Then we go back to Derek Jacobs and Caden Nofree. Saw him not get a qualifying bid. Matt Mackin and Derek Pemberton are 41st and 42nd. Starting shotgun on the field is going to be Jeff Taylor in that 23 machine. So that is where they start. Where they'll finish, we'll see at the end of at least 163 laps. Lights are still on the pace car.
Mike. We're gonna get all ramped up here. Where are expectations going here early on in this run? Are we gonna figure out, see how our cars are handling? Are we gonna see long green flag runs? What's gonna be the situation here once we drop this green flag?
I bet we're gonna see a lot of side drafting here. A couple lanes working here at Atlanta. Pretty much the same way we saw kind of last week as these guys are rolling through. You might see some guys try and force it 3 wide. It is possible to go to 3 wide, but not recommended. But I don't envision us seeing single file action very long here in the Moonshiners Racing League here. This is the
here we go.
This is going to be the last pace lap here before they get going. Pace lights are out on the pace car. Kyle Holden has the pole in the 59 Ford machine.
Pace car making its way out of turn number 2, going down the back straightaway with Kyle Holdman on pole. Next then we have Matt L. Cox in second. And you're looking through the field, and it's pretty intense here. Not a lot of Fords, not a lot of Chevys, not a lot of Toyotas. It's like a very good mix of manufacturers here. So we're going to see who's going to be working with each other. Find your drafting partner. See who's around you. That's what you want to look for. Who's a good pusher on these drafting tracks? Who's not a good pusher? You know, just those little key elements that could help you towards the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely going to need to find your teammates as we take a look at the weather. 86 degrees is the air temperature, but the track temperature is up over 100. It's 107 right now, so probably get a little slick as these guys get some wear on those tires. But with that being said, pace car is going to make that left-hand turn down pit lane, and we're going to be set to go here. Kyle Holden leading them on down to the Geico restart zone. Waits till almost the end, and he is off, and we are underway here in the Moonshiners Cup Series at Atlanta.
Looking at these drivers going in turn number 1, Kyle Holdeman holding the edge here. The inside, you see those 2 cars pulling away just a little bit. You don't want to get out too far. As you see now, you have to choose a lane to block. He chooses the block. Now the outside lane gets that run, goes to the inside. And they're going to be doing this off and on all night here tonight.
Yeah, you saw the leaders kind of flip-flop there as Kyle Holden went to the high side and Matt Cox went to the low side. Hunter Carmichael pushing Kyle Holden in the high lane. The 18 machine of Blaine Wilson also up there. Alex Coffey there as well. Tim Wortman Jr. kind of got shuffled back a little ways on that bottom side. He's running second on the bottom in that 83 Chevy. And like I said, we're going to see probably quite a bit of side-by-side action here, just like we saw in the Cup Series that was run last weekend.
Well, so far they've been keeping it clean, and you're seeing all these drivers switching different lanes. Expect that early on, but you know, the one thing I want to look out for is if we do have a long green flag run here, Mike, you're going to see drivers start doing a snake line formation. What I mean by that is these drivers, they will go all single file, and that is a key to saying that they will come down pit road if we do run long green flag runs. Right there, Matt L. Cox leads the way, but that outside line is still right there with him.
Yeah, side by side they go down the backstretch. Matt Cox leading the field. Tim Wortman Jr. in second as that outside lane. He's kind of fallen off just a little bit here. See if anybody's going to try and jump down here. See, we'll do this and do this. Switch that over for you, Bad Racer. Doyle, it's set the way it's supposed to be set. I don't know what else to tell you other than that's just the way it is. Matt Cox, Tim Wortman Jr. working that bottom lane. Ryan Huff, Jeff Chandler also there. Kyle Holden still leading that outside lane. See if Hunter Carmichael can help him get a push and get up towards the front here. Paul Whitley, Chris Spear back here in the middle. Kane Lee also running about 14. Stephen Gibson, Chad Sullivan trying to advance his position there as well. But up front, this bottom line has just found a groove and is slowly starting to pull away. You see Brandon Bikey jump to the high side as he pulls out and gets in front of Kyle Holden. So he's going to lead the high side now as they go through. Chad Sullivan with the fastest lap of the race with the 29.43.
Inside line looks like the magic line right now because that outside is struggling just a little bit here as they fall back. And you're seeing these drivers push into the corners right there, and you saw the leader of Matt Cox get a little sideways there, and that's what I'm talking about. You do not want to be pushing. You don't want to be pushing in the corners, and there's a huge run on the outside line, and they get into the wall, but they keep it going here.
Yeah, Tim Wortman Jr. saw that outside line come and jumped up there to get in front of Brandon Bikey, and they wound up carrying too much speed into the corner, bounced off that wall, but they are still rolling through. Tim Wortman Jr. jumps down to the inside line in front of Matt Cox. Brandon Bikey's going to lead that high line as we are through 9 laps already here.
Laps will go by very, very fast, but I mean, is anybody going to pull away? Or are we going to see different drivers in different leads at different times? Probably. You've seen right there the one of Brandon Bikey right now leading the pack going down the back straightaway. Watch that inside line. They get a run. He's going to have to block very, very fast.
Yeah, trying to find the right time to block. You don't want to be late. If you're a little late on that block, you're going to get bumped, and it will not be a clean one as it'll send you sideways up the track. Let's see if we can go on board with, let's go Matt Cox. Look at off of his nose there. You're looking at the rear bumper of the Warrior Wraps 83 Chevy of Tim Wortman Jr. there. Just how close these guys are bumping as they got loose, and Matt Cox goes to the high side, stuck 3 wide in the middle. The 18 goes around, and that is going to be our first caution of the race. Going to stack everybody up on that high side.
Wow, that is literally everybody behind. See, there are 15 involved. We're gonna have to take a look at this replay here.
Now with everybody involved, let's see if we can take a look here. They're going to see Matt Cox get a little bad bump there as they kind of stack up. Hunter Carmichael goes into the outside wall trying to avoid Matt there And that's what's going to set up this caution as the 18 of Blaine Wilson gets into the back. Alex Coffey into him. The 74 also there. Looks like Barry Sanders was around. 21 gets, looks like 21 almost got through. Everybody's locking up their brakes, trying to get by. Darren Mullins was trying to get through there as well. Looks like almost everybody in the back half of the field got caught up in it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're mid-pack or towards the pack of the pack, you just have nowhere to go in some of these instances. That was the case here tonight here from Atlanta early on. So most of these drivers, they're going to be coming down to get that all fixed.
So I could... Well, here, since we're going to do that, I might just stop.
Stop what?
Here for everybody looking. Anyway, pace car is in. We're getting ready to go back to racing. Brandon Bikey with the button as they hit the Geico restart zone. He is down and away. He's got Matt Cox behind him. Brandon Bikey gets a good jump. He's out rolling through here.
You don't want to get too far out, and you're seeing that pack right behind him there, all scrambled out. You're gonna have to get situated here. Going again, there's a car in apron. We stay green though, and right there, the 59 of Kyle Holden back up front here and sitting in second place coming off of turn number 4. But it looks like everybody's using that outside line to their advantage right now.
Yeah, everybody got stacked up there, decided they didn't want to race that hard early. Looks like Matt Mackin entered the pits, Chris Spear, Justin Belmonte, everybody just kind of got back on the track. Going to make some pit stops, try and get that repair made. Tim Wortman Jr. is leading that inside lane, trying to get that rolling back to the front. He's hooked up with the 93 of Ryan Huff. 19 machine stuck in the middle. That's Nicholas Atwood. Had a little bit too much speed, couldn't slide up behind Steven Gibson there. As Gibson gets a run, Barry Sanders, and they are single file on the high line now as they're rolling through here. It's in replay mode, Bad Racer. If that's the case, I'll make a change on a full commercial here. We're working through lap 19 here. Matt Cox jumped down to the inside. He's going to try and challenge for the lead here. Brandon Bikey, he's got to run. He's got Kyle Holden pushing him to the front. Side by side they go.
I don't know if the inside's going to get there in time, though. Maybe so. But it looks like the outside's going to have that little bit more momentum now going in turn number 3.
Three wide in the middle goes Matt Cox. He gets shuffled back there. Fourth in the outside lane now. 22 laps in. Like Jeff Chandler's the last car on the lead lap as he was able to pull out, kind of float to the back there. Steven Gibson has a 19 behind him there as they roll through.
Yeah, the outside just looks like they're very well organized, not making many mistakes, just like the inside. But if the inside wants to get up towards the front, they're going to have a lot more cars come down to help them get that momentum.
Yeah, they definitely are. But here comes the outside lane as they're starting to stack up here. Whoa.
Not going to bring out a caution. Think it did.
Yep. Brought
Caution
it out.
is out.
Aaron Matthews went around. Let's see if we can take a look here. See what happened there. Everything looks good. Oh, Steven Gibson and the 19 get together. The 5 had nowhere to go. Had to check up there. Lost a lot of speed there as they were rolling through. Well, we do that. Let's see if we can take a break and be right back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Sorry about the connection. It looks like the storms up here kind of playing a little havoc, but hopefully I was able to adjust that. Thanks to Bad Racer for helping me out. It said it was supposedly in live, but see if that makes it feel a little better here for you. Brandon Bikey's going to lead him on down here as looks like they're going to extend the caution lap one more time as everybody's kind of waiting on the field here. So we're 28 laps in. Looks like we've got going to be going green with 30, so a 10-lap shootout there for the stage break. We'll see what happens once they get rolling once again here. I want to thank everybody for joining us on YouTube. There's a few drivers that had some storm issues as well as the power was going out pretty much all across the Midwest and everything. So here we go, Brandon Bikey, Kyle Holden on the front row. Pace car is in. Bikey is on the button, gonna get them to that Geico restart zone. He is down and away. See if he's gonna slide up in front of Kyle Holden. Looked like they were working together for quite a bit in the race here. As Bikey goes up, gonna arc the corner a little bit, maybe stay up a little too high as Kyle Holden prefers the bottom side. As he slides down, he's gonna battle for the lead. Coming off of turn number 2 as they head down the backstretch. Holden gets loose, gets into Bikey, goes into the inside wall, but no one else involved as they are rolling through. Everybody's gonna stay out of his way there.
Wow.
Heck of a save there. As he's staying out of the way, just rolling through, trying to get back into line here.
I thought he was going to come down pit road for a second there, Mike.
I don't know that it did a lot of damage because he was able to get it kind of slowed up before he hit the wall, but definitely not something you want to do on, you know, the first part of a race here with no fast repairs and, you know, 5 sets of tires here. But Matt Cox
these two drivers up front, Mike, they're gonna have to keep a close eye on this pack because if they get bunched up here and too far out, they're gonna be in a hurt world of trouble because these two lanes are gonna be literally trains on steroids coming after them.
Yeah, if they can get hooked up, you can see them kind of stick the nose out, try and get a little air to cool down the car. They're going middle now. The 33 or the 93 of Ryan Huff trying to stay with Matt Cox. Hunter Carmichael is bouncing around down there as well. Matt Cox working through here.
Watch that inside line there. That's the 91 of Kane Lee.
Yeah, 91 of Kane Lee trying to stay off of Brandon Bikey and Matt Cox as they were getting a run as they checked up, and that's going to send everybody scattering here as Matt Cox goes into the outside wall.
Wow. Another bunch of cars collected here.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if this is going to work. For some reason at these super speedway type tracks, when there's a caution, they tend to play a little bit of havoc here, but let's see if we can get a view here from Matt Cox. So you can see the 3 get a push on the 91 there as they're coming down the backstretch, sliding around. Oh, Matt Cox comes down into the Kane lead there. Hunter Carmichael has nowhere to go, and they stacked up. And once everybody starts wrecking, that is when everything breaks loose. So we're going to have see if they're going to call that the stage or if we're going to have a 3-lap shootout here.
Well, we're about to find out here.
See if anybody's tell us. It looks like everybody kind of got stacked back up there. Everybody went down pit road. Looks like 22nd on back or on pit lane getting fixed up here. Hey, Bad Racer, if you're able, just a question, since you seem to know more about computers here. When we actually do a replay, it starts blinking the cars as you saw there. Is that something that's just with super speedways or something since the new update? Because it used to not do that.
I think it's with the new update. A lot of drivers still in contention here for the race win later on tonight, running 163 laps, and we're already almost to lap 40, so this race is going by pretty quick here, Mike.
Yeah, these guys are definitely sliding through here. Yeah, Chris, I'll show. Okay, I'll check that racer there. See what all we could do on that. We have Chris Bender in the chat. Well, I'm pretty sure he's cheering for John here, so I'll do that. We'll move around more. Go more drivers. Pace car is in. Brandon Bikey with the button. And he gets a pretty good jump on that bottom line. Has Steven Gibson behind him. Ryan Huff to his outside in that 93 machine. See if everybody tries to stack up, go a little more single file. But it looks like it's going to be basically a 3-lap shootout here for the stage breaks here.
That inside line, very well organized, has that momentum. Just gotta keep close on that outside line. You guys will be fine.
Now Shane Davis moves up to the high side, almost a little too high as he gets close to that outside wall. Up front, Steven Gibson takes over. Brandon Bikey goes to the high line, gets in front of Steven Davis. Side by side they go down the front stretch. '19 is all over the back of Steven Gibson here. And we are under caution once again. Like Matt Mackin. Probably got a bad push here. Let's see. See what happened here. Oh. Something happened in front of Matt there. It looked like something happened in front of Matt to bring out the caution, which that's going to leave Brandon Bikey with the stage win here. We're going to let them roll on down through pit lane, make their pit stop, and then see if we can talk to Brandon before he gets back out on track. Like Randy Mullins, Warren Young, Alex Coffey, Derek Pemberton all stayed out on track. So they all pitted earlier with some cautions going on there. We'll get Brandon Bikey up here in the booth. Hey, Brandon, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Hey, Mike. Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Like we fixed one of our issues we were having, but you ran a heck of a race. Lots of drafting out there, bumping around. What do you think it's going to take to finish this race here up front?
Well, I think it's going to take a great deal of luck because it's wild out here, man. This track is awesome. It's also crazy. So, you know, just going to try not to die, pretty much.
Definitely, man. But you were able to be at the right place at the right time. How's the track other than try not to die out there?
I mean, how does it look to you guys? That's what I want to know.
Well, it looks like it's fun, side-by-side racing. Some losing a little bit of grip there, trying to get some runs, and you know, it's still pretty new track for everybody on the service here.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. That's how it is. So it's fun though. It's really fun. It's wild. You have to be, I mean, on your P's and Q's. You got to be ready at any time. Head on a swivel, because it's just at any second it can change 100%. So it's wild. So I hope you guys enjoy this. We're trying to give you a good show here, and I think we will.
Definitely, man. Well, I'll get you back to your team here, and we'll get set to go here.
All right. Holla, everybody watching me. Thanks for the support.
That was stage winner there, Brandon Bikey. So we got Randy Mullins here up front. Warren Young, Alex Coffey, Derek Pemberton. All these guys making pit strategy calls to get up front. Probably going to have to pit before the next stage. Everybody else probably should be able to make it to the stage break there, coming at lap 80. Pace car is in. Randy Mullins with the button as they get ready to hit that Geico restart zone. And he leaves earlier than anybody else has lately. He's going to allow Warren Young to slide in behind him if he wants. Alex Coffey there as well, as they're single file through the top three. Derek Pemberton and Paul Gallimore side by side. Brandon Bikey, Stephen Gibson back there. Then we go back to Ryan Huff and Jordan Schmeets. Nick King just inside the top 10 there, as everybody goes three wide here as Stephen Gibson gets a run.
Wow, I thought they were going to wreck there for a second, but they keep it straight going down the front straightaway here. And Randy Mullins is going to lead that lap, but he better look close to that inside, because that inside right there is coming up fast here.
Yeah, Paul Gallimore battling for the lead. These guys battle side by side. Let's take a look, kind of run down through our field as Derek Pemberton's going backwards just a little bit. Nick King is as well, as these guys are shuffling. We got Barry Sanders and Jameson Middle Miss kind of battling side by side. Shane Davis, Kane Lee, Blaine Wilson, and Dean Motley all inside the top 20. Got Nicholas Atwood back here in 21st. Johnny Shade, Tim Ortman Jr. was up front, came down pit lane, and he is looking to try and get back towards the front. Got a couple, looks like we got a couple lap cars maybe in between, as Matt Cox and Chris Davis are going side by side. Hunter Carmichael, Aaron Matthews. Looks like John Bender is going back towards the back just a little bit. Last car on the lead lap is Jeff Chandler, and then we have cars that are a lap down. Nigel Christensen, Justin Belmonte, Chris Spear, Chad Sullivan, Kyle Holden, as he had to make an unscheduled pit stop, as these guys are pushing their way to almost a third of the way through this race. Randy Mullins, Paul Gallimore side by side, Warren Young back there, and it looks like Bikey's going backwards on that inside line as the outside gets a good run here. We'll see if they're going to stay out there or if they slide down when they get clear. Alex Coffey sitting third, running side by side with Brandon Bikey. Saw some aggressive pushing back here with Nick King and Jordan Schmeetz. Steven Gibson went 3 wide earlier, trying to avoid pushing too hard early. Jameson Middle Miss back here in 11th. Like I said, I think we're going to see two by two for the majority of the race here, as these guys are putting in some work here. Kane Lee, Darren Mills. Let's see what it's like on board here with one of these drivers kind of in the middle. You see from Darren Mills' point of view, he gets a big run headed into the corner as he goes to the inside of, like, Jameson Middle Miss there is just in front of him. Kane Lee's going to battle him on the outside, but just see how close these guys are battling here. And as we hit lap 50, we're going to see what these guys sound like when they're out on track. You can just see how much speed they carry in there, as we've kind of broken out into a couple different packs here. All the lead lap cars here, and then we go back and we've got some single drivers back here. We have Justin Belmonte trying to work his way through the field. Chris Spear lap down as well. Chad Sullivan back here. We got Derek Jacobs just kind of logging some laps. Kyle Holden is in this lead pack, but he's kind of put himself a couple laps down as he's been wound up in some incidents there. And Paul Whitley as well. They kind of have a group of 5 or 6 drivers here trying to go through the field. We got Darren Mullins, looks like, back there. Jeff Taylor. Looks like Terry Atwood. Looks like a few drivers are called it a night. Like Terry Atwood, Kenny Coppola, Kendall Levron. Last car driving is going to be Jeff Taylor. He's back in 40th position, running 15 laps. It's like Matt Mackin is sitting on pit lane. Paul Whitley, Kyle Holden is inside this lead group. We got guys all over the track trying to work together here. Back here, we got Jeff Chandler leading this group back here with Derek Pemberton.
Yes. And you know, a bigger pack of cars, Mike, it has more momentum, so they could catch up to that pack very easily.
Yeah, if they can get hooked up and stay driving everybody in the same lane, as you see these guys in the back of this lead pack kind of split lanes, try and figure out where they want to go. This is back in 25th with Dean Motley and Nicholas Atwood. Tim Wortman Jr. is just behind them. And then, like I said, you got Derek Pemberton and Jeff Chandler leading this group of 5 cars here. The other 3 are a lap down, but they're still trying to help the 82 and 31 get back to the lead pack group. We got back here in 16th, as you see guys kind of spread out as if 3 wide with the 27 down on the bottom. 27, Derek Jacobs trying to get out of the way and let everybody go by. Looks like John Bender's up there in the high lane trying to get a few places here. He's currently running 14th, 13th as we speak. Hunter Carmichael up here as well. Brendan Bikey got shuffled back just a little ways there. Looks like the Walt machine is going backwards as everybody is kind of spread out trying to avoid the lap car there who's down on the apron. Still 3 wide just in front of these guys. You got the 18 of Blaine Wilson in the middle. Looks like the 15 of Alex Coffey in front of him. Down on the inside is Aaron Matthews as they're still 3 wide. The 24 of Nick King up on the high side. They're still 3 wide, battling down the backstretch they go. Alex Coffey's going to pull down. The 18 is going to pull up into the high lane, so that is going to alleviate the 3 wide action as everybody up front has settled down and running nose to tail right now as they're working their way through lap 59 of 163. If there's anybody specific you guys want to see, just let me know and I'll try and get maybe an onboard with them here, as Steven Gibson has fallen back a little ways. He's running P9, Nick King 10th, Alex Coffey back in 12th. Looks like he worked his way back to the high side, got in front of that 18 machine that he was working with for a little bit there. Aaron Matthews still stuck in the middle as they're going by a lap car down on the bottom side.
Seeing that top line all single file right now. There's that snake line formation I was talking about.
Let's see. But it's the same thing when you have guys come down pit lane and they're trying to figure out who they want to work with. It doesn't matter if they're a lap car or not. If they can help you, you're going to take advantage of it as these guys are working their way through. Oh,
there's a
caution.
Turn 2. Gonna have to see who that is. I believe is the 82 there.
Got spun around.
Got to see how this all started there.
Let's see what sets it off here. Alex Coffey goes to the high side, try and stay out of the way. 16 back there as well. 16 gets into the 13, and that's going to send everybody spinning around there. And got just ran over by that second group of cars. See everybody else going down to the inside as he gets rolling once again here. That's going to bring out another caution. See who elects to come down pit lane. I would have thought we would have seen a couple of these drivers come down, but maybe they have enough fuel to make it to the end of the stage. The stage is 17 laps away. We got Randy Mullins up front, Warren Young, Chris Davis, Paul Gallimore, Brandon Bikey inside the top 5. We got Shane Davis, Hunter Carmichael, John Bender, Steven Gibson, Nick King inside the top 10. Jordan Schmitz, Alex Coffey, Blaine Wilson, Aaron Matthews, Chris James are inside that top 15. Jared Clark is running P16. Jamison Middlemiss 17th. Jeff Carson comes out of the pits P18. Darren Mills, Kane Lee round out the top 20. Looks like everybody else is in the pits right now. Those they are working their way through the caution. What do you expect to see in this final 100 laps here, Daniel?
Yeah, what I expect to see is the anticipation start ramping up just a little bit. But you're not going to see drivers making that aggressive move probably until we come to the white flag or 2 laps to go. That is what I expect. But, you know, every time we're here at Atlanta, it's been an overtime for me. So I don't know if we'll get that tonight. There's a great possibility that could happen here tonight, but we're not sure just yet. 100 laps is still, I wouldn't say a long way to go because it goes pretty fast here at Atlanta, Mike. But I expect these drivers to do what they have been doing, you know, changing different lanes, blocking the lanes, getting the runs, using those runs to their advantage. If we have long green flag run again, maybe we see another green flag pit stop. If we have caution after caution, then so be it. But I mean, these drivers put on a great show every week in and out, and they're just here to have fun. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I know I'm ready to see what happens with 100 to go.
Now Randy Mullins with the button once again. They get ready to head out of turn number 4 and come to that Geico restart zone. Randy Mullins rolling through, see if he's going to go quick, and he does. He goes almost as soon as he hits that restart zone. Warren Young gets rolling with him. Chris Davis also there, as Davis is able to stay right next to Warren Young. Davis trying to pull even, or maybe even a little in front here as they're getting a big push there from Brandon Bikey.
Nice push going down into turn number 3. Great pushers. That's what you want behind you going into turn number 3 and 4. But everybody has the momentum right now in the top 5, so they're still going to be side by side going across start finish line here.
Yeah, they definitely are having some momentum as these guys are working through. John Bender working up here inside 11th right now, looking to get inside that top 10. We got Chris James, Blaine Wilson, Jamison Middlemiss all mid-pack right now. Aaron Matthews trying to get back towards the front. He's up 20 spots right now, running P16. We got Jeff Carson back here in the middle, as these guys are battling pretty tough here, trying to figure out what lane they want to be in, as Alex Coffey went to the middle. Luckily, everybody was able to stay spread out and work their way around. Jared Clark in the 69 machines running P20. Kane Lee back there in 21st. Ryan Huff as well. Let's see if we can take a look from the nose of the 93 forward here, kind of see what he sees as he's running 22nd right now. And just see the way they have to get around everybody. It's not like you have much time there.
I mean, look at the momentum that he's gonna get coming off this corner. Watch him gain on this 2-car right in front of him of Darren Mills running 18th. I mean, look at the momentum right there. If he goes full throttle, he will hit the driver in front of him. That is how fast they go here around Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it definitely happens that way. As you see Barry Sanders and Dean Motley side by side. Steven Gibson's back in the field as well. Looked like he was racing to the stage break and then pulled back just a little bit as we have 10 laps to go in this stage. Matt Cox back here as well, deep in the field after being involved in one of the incidents here. Derek Pemberton, Johnny Shade, Jeff Chandler rolling by himself. That has got to be one of the hardest things to do when you're at one of these super speedways, is basically run by yourself. As we are having a shakeup up front as they're 4 wide coming through the start finish line there. Ooh, Shane Davis off the wall. He's able to get down and we stay green. He took a heck of a shot off the wall, went down in front of half the field there, but was able to stay off of everybody as Brandon Bikey's now trying to take advantage and get up here for some stage points once again. He's hunting for that stage win. He is on the back bumper of Paul Gallimore. Randy Mullins up to the high side. He's going to have Chris Davis pushing him. John Bender is forcing his way third on the bottom as he was back in the field as well. First time we saw him up towards the front all night. See Davis get higher in that corner than anybody else as he slides back behind Randy Mullins. Mullins to the point here as they battle through. Bikey trying to get Paul Gallimore to the point, just not quite enough pushing there. This looks like Bender kind of lost where he was pushing Bikey, so they went back just a little ways here, see if they can get stacked up again and try and make another run. Go back through the field. Kane Lee getting shuffled out. Nicholas Atwood, Ryan Huff 14th, 15th. As you can see just how fast these guys are moving positions inside, outside the top 15.
Yeah.
I mean, you have
look at this second pack here. I mean, they lost the draft. So they're going to have to work together to try to get that momentum back. If not, they're going to be struggling a lot here.
Yeah, you got Matt Cox back here, Tim Wortman. And all these guys were pretty quick early in this race. See if they're going to be able to battle back from where they are. They know they have a few cautions coming anyway, especially one in the next 5 laps, as now Randy Mullins and Chris Davis are pushing their way out in front, trying to get as big a lead as they can. They know that inside lane, if they get hooked up, they're going to be coming towards the front. And just as I say that, Paul Gallimore is inside of Blaine Wilson there as they get a bad push, and that's going to slow them down once again. Looks like the 24 of Nick King did not get the push he needed from Nicholas Atwood, so that kind of shook up that inside line. So the outside line is now almost 4 cars clear, 5 cars clear, with Hunter Carmichael getting clear as well. We'll see if Aaron Matthews is going to be able to clear off of Gallimore, but Gallimore's coming back once again as we've got 3 laps left here in stage number 2. These guys mid-pack are battling back and forth, trying to get a run, trying to pick what lane they want to be in. Chris James, Barry Sanders, Ryan Huff, all moving inside, outside, trying to get a little air on the nose as they're trying to side draft and get drug up even here. But right now, Randy Mullins and Chris Davis are clear, as is, looks like Blaine Wilson, Alex Coffey's side by side with Paul Gallimore as they're battling through. Like I said, the second group back here is still working pretty well. They're trying to sort out where they want to be as we have one lap left here in the stage. So back up front we'll go with Randy Mullins and Chris Davis leading that outside lane. Blaine Wilson also there, Alex Coffey and Hunter Carmichael. Paul Gallimore, Brandon Bikey trying to work their way towards the front to get some bonus points here as the end of the stage is coming near.
Oh, 3 wide.
Three wide at the start-finish
line.
line as they are trying to move. The 18's up high. Blaine Wilson into the wall, and that's going to bring out a caution as the 5 goes around as well. As they are wrecking in turn number 2. Well, Hunter Carmichael gave Alex Coffey a big bump there, and you knew it was going to come. Brandon Bikey down on the inside. They're still 3 wide. The 18 gets into the wall, hits Hunter Carmichael, bumps a couple. Hunter Carmichael goes sliding into the wall, and the 18 there of Blaine Wilson gets turned with the 5 machine of Aaron Matthews. So that's going to be the end of the stage there. And Randy Mullins is going to get the stage victory. We'll let him make his pit stop and then see if we can talk to him on his stage victory here.
Seeing drivers come down pit road right now.
All right, let's see if we can talk to Randy here. Hey, Randy, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Well, not too bad. That was a heck of a run there at the end of that that stage there. How's that going to set you up for the rest of the race?
I think it'll set me up good. I messed up in qualifying and got stuck way back there, and it hurt me the first stage. But you just get up front here, stay out of trouble. That's the main thing. Let these guys just take themselves out. Just kind of keep your nose clean. If you're in the top 6 or 8 with 10 to go, you're just giving yourself a chance. That's all I'm asking for.
Definitely. But other than that, how's it been racing out there? How's it being at Atlanta in these next-gen cars?
I particularly don't like it. I think they messed this track up when they did it. But being out here right now, if you're out front, you can maintain pace, you know. But if you're in the mid-pack or in the back, you just got this slinky effect. You're going just back and forth. So it's tough. So track position is definitely key. We got it, so hopefully we can keep it.
Definitely, Matt. Well, congrats on your stage win, and maybe we'll talk to you after the race.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Yep. So 2 stages done. And we know we're going to have probably 1 pit stop here. It's going to be a matter of when you elect to take it and who you take it with, probably to bring home the race win here tonight. Like we got drivers that elected to stay out, take that wave around, try and get some lap back there, as Nicholas Atwood looks like he's going to have the button, as he was able to beat Randy Mullins out of pit lane. Looks like he took fuel only, or maybe right size, as he only spent 7.5 seconds in his pit box to everybody else's 12 to 14.
And now that we're going to get going on this restart here, Mike, you're going to see these drivers be a little more aggressive, because the laps are winding down. They know that, but you got to try to stay out of trouble. If you want to not get involved in a wreck later on, hopefully you're up towards the front, because that's where it seems like it's not happening right now. Green flag back in the air. The 19 and Nicholas Atwood at the helm.
And Nicholas Atwood got a pretty good jump. Paul Gallimore is going to stay with him. We kind of seen these guys battle each other on opposite lines, but Paul Gallimore is pushing now and not leading that outside line. Brandon Bikey giving a little shove there to Alex Coffey in that bottom lane. Got the 16 of Jamison Middlemiss trying to work his way up and get some of that track position as well. As you see, looks like that was Chris Davis go from the high side to the bottom, as he's trying to get some momentum built up there as well. These guys are just battling back and forth, everybody trying to get every inch of ground they have.
Yeah, they're going to use every inch that they have here. And you're seeing these drivers pretty much maybe a half a car length spread out mid-pack right now. But, I mean, that's because when you're here at Atlanta, Mike, you're not running full throttle at all. You're running maybe 85, 90% throttle through turns 1 and 2, also 3 and 4. Because if you do run full throttle, you're going to run over the person in front of you. So these drivers, the only time they're running full throttle is if they're going down the front or back.
As everybody kind of checks up a little bit, lets a couple drivers go down to the inside and fade back through the field here. Got Barry Sanders, Jeff Carson, Ryan Huff, Darren Mills. Like he's back on the lead lap. John Bender is back here in this lead pack. Looks like they bounced off the wall on the outside there. Looks like Shane Davis had an issue. Shane Davis was a few laps down there. Gonna see what happened here. I'm trying to get around lapped car. Derek Pemberton back there as well. That's a 21 machine of Chad Sullivan and the 5 of Aaron Matthews. Aaron Matthews goes off the nose of Shane Davis, and the 21 goes around, or gets into the back of the 79 as he goes around. Here's on board with the 21 Ford here as they're headed into turn number 1. Just nothing he could do is how fast that came up. So working caution number 7. Caution number 5 without the stage brakes there. So with that, we're going to step aside for a moment. You won't miss anything as we go picture in picture, and we'll be back after this. Pace car is in, and Randy Mullins with the button as they get ready to go here. It's about halfway through, and he is off to the races. Gets a huge jump, almost a half second over Nicholas Atwood and Alex Coffey. As they are battling through side by side as Atwood and Coffey. Bikey giving Atwood a shove to get out front. Paul Gallimore working that high side as well. They are bouncing inside outside trying to get to their preferred line. Don't look now, but Matt Cox is back towards the front as well. He's running P6 right now as Paul Gallimore goes backwards in the high line. Jordan Smeets, Chris Davis, Chris James. Guys bouncing back and forth. Jeff Carson, Hunter Carmichael back there as well. Got Derek Pemberton back on the lead lap. Next guy's Kane Lee. So we got some lappers worked in here with the rest of the field. Everybody trying to get some track position here. Staying out, trying to work through the field. Looks like Hunter Carmichael's back towards the back as well. Looks like got some runs here. About mid-pack here as these guys are bouncing around trying to figure out, you know, where they want to be, what line is moving, where they feel safe. We got looks like 6 drivers in the high line just rolling on through as you have Brandon Bikey, Paul Gallimore, and it looks like Jordan Schmeets there as Chris Davis was able to make the pass on Nick King. Jamison Middlemiss also working there. Nick King going backwards in that bottom line. Looks like Matt Cox can't quite get pushing as the 16. Like the 16 just lost the handle on that ride. And that's going to... And we are still green. Everybody's going the same direction, but...
Oh,
wow.
We're still going. Now they're really spread out.
See if we can see what happened here. We can jump back to Jamison here. Oh, he just hit the wall. Everybody kept going the right direction, though. Everybody swerved to avoid. Just, that's going to spread out the field quite a bit here. Randy Mullins, Alex Coffey, Nicholas Atwood, Brandon Bikey, and Paul Gallimore up in the high line. Chris Davis takes over the bottom lane. Jordan Schmeets down there as well. So this is the lead pack that basically avoided all the carnage that just happened there. The 7 of Chris Spear, Ryan Huff as well. And you have Jeff Carson and the next group of guys, Bender and Motley and D. Mullins all back there as well. So they are set up once again as Chris Davis comes looking for the front. Chris getting a little bit of a bad bump there from Jordan Schmeets, it looks like. And this weather is just killing everything. Randy Mullins, Alex Coffey, Chris Davis all working there. As Davis was leading this bottom group and pushing them to the front, or getting pulled to the front, but he has fallen back now, even with Bikey in the high lane. Jordan Schmitz down there. Got the 12 of Chris James in the high line trying to make a little groove here. Go back and check on this second group of with Jeff Carson leading them. John Bender back there, Shane Davis, Derek Pemberton. All these guys back in this second group. Just see them work their way around the track here. We got two distinct groups here, and we don't have any more stage breaks in order to get them back together either. So Davis is going to lead the inside group. Randy Mullins on the high side. Tim Wortman Jr., he's back up inside the top 10 after being a lap down early. Paul Gallimore going backwards as well. That inside line has gained momentum. See these guys bounce around quite a bit. We go back to that second group once again. You got Huff, Carson, Bender, Pemberton, Motley, Kane Lee, all these guys trying to stay hooked up, try and make some room, make some waves here as they are 60 to go here in the Moonshiners Racing League. Coffee running second in the high lane. Everybody's just trying to keep this track position, stay where they want to be. They know pit stops are going to be coming probably in another, I'll say 15 laps or so. They know they can make it to the end as we went 40 green flag laps early in this run. So we'll see if they're going to be able to do that here as they come to their pit window. Kind of bouncing around here. It's like Ryan Huff is going to be the back of the other line here. Jump back to the second group. Jeff Carson, Binder, Pemberton, Motley, Lee, Barry Sanders, all these guys. Looks like there's a third group with Barry Sanders in it. Darren Mullins back there as well. The 13 machine of Johnny Shade. Everybody's just trying to get some track position as they're working through 106 laps here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Next week we do head to Las Vegas. So they head from Atlanta to Vegas and then off to Phoenix before heading to Bristol, and they'll close out the month of March at COTA. So definitely something to look forward to as these guys try and close out the race here at Atlanta with a victory. Here is Randy Mullins leading the high side, Chris Davis on the bottom. Randy Mullins was leading a lot of the race last week as well, just wasn't there at the right time, as I believe he was involved in an early race accident there. But he was also running pretty well in the duels. Tim Wortman Jr. has a gap back to, looks like, the 7 of Chris Spear. Is that going to close up pretty quick with the 69 of Jared Clark trying to close up as well. Going to go back to Jeff Carson, Binder, Bender, and Pemberton. It'll be interesting to see when everybody decides to come to pit lane of these three groups we have on track. See if Carson's going to lead these guys down at some point in time before the lead pack. We got these 4 drivers here. A couple Ram Motorsports guys there. Barry Sanders and Johnny Shade. But back up front, it is Mullins and Davis leading this group. And it looks like power has taken out my broadcast partner, so Randy Mullins, Chris Davis, Alex Coffey. We'll see if who's going to be leading at the end of these next 50 laps. Looks like we got some shuffling going on, maybe back here with the second group, trying to find out what driver or what car is set up more for the pushing and what one's set up more for the leading. If anybody's gonna try and swap around here. See if Barry Sanders or anybody's gonna get there as well. Well, it really looks like everybody's kind of staying where they are, but Chris Davis is fading back a little ways here as they're working through lap 114. Randy Mullins, Alex Coffey leading the outside line as they're gonna come up on a lapped car here. Looks like that was probably going to be maybe the 20 of Caden Nofree here as he goes down to the inside. Going to let these guys race hard towards the end. Mullins gets towards the middle here. Nicholas Atwood, Chris James, Tim Wortman Jr. Looks like Ryan Huff is going to be towards the tail of this lead group here. And looks like Jeff Carson is still leading, and it looks like Bender has now jumped up into second, going to try and give that number 9 Toyota a push with the 33. Shane Davis trying to close in. If these guys can get hooked up, they might have something if they can at least gain some ground here as Pemberton and looks like the 20 machine of Caden Nofree are trying to stay with this group. Davis is going back though. He's now 5th on that inside row. But just not quite enough guys down on that inside row hooked up. Matt Cox is down there, but just doesn't seem to be able to get onto the rear bumper enough to get enough speed into the 2 drivers in front of him. Just see that gap build as they're coming to the start finish line here. But look at the view from Mullins as he doesn't have anybody around him. See the view looking back as Coffey gets on him as well there. Nicholas Atwood, Brandon Pikey, and Paul Gallimore all staying in the high line. You have Chris Davis, Jordan Schmitz, and Matt Cox trying to get that inside line to come back to the front. I just don't know that there's enough cars as Jared Clark has not been able to close in on the back there of Matt Cox. So That inside line is not quite as hooked up as the outside. Looks like we got the 13 machine down on the inside of Johnny Shade. There, 3 wide going down the backstretch there. Looks like he was just trying to stay on the track but out of the way. But here we go back to the 15th position here. And just see the 2 go up into that outside wall of Darren Mills, Jeff Carson, John Bender, Pemberton, all trying to get this line to get back towards the front, try and get hooked up with at least the lead pack, give them a chance when the race is coming to a conclusion here. As these guys were side by side most of the race, looks like they're almost trying to get single filed out, maybe to figure out when they want to come down. Because it looks like only a couple drivers left in this bottom lane here. And that's Chris Davis and Jordan Schmeets. As everybody else has went to the high line. Looks like Tim Wortman Jr. is also staying down there. And maybe the 93 of Ryan Huff is in the high line. So it's the 7 there of Chris Spear staying down on the bottom side. But basically almost everybody's single file for the most part here. Randy Mullins, Alex Coffey, Nicholas Atwood. They've been working together for the second half of the race. We're inside the pit window here as we have 40 laps left to go in the Moonshiners Racing Cup Series. Got Chris Davis still trying to lead that bottom line. Just nobody really getting up there to push him. As you have Tim Wortman Jr. back behind Jordan Schmeets, but they can't quite close that gap as they're still a car and a half apart. We'll see if when anybody elects to come down pit lane, as we are definitely within the pit window. These drivers in this pack here with Carson and Bender, Pepperton, they're all looking for a caution to come down pit lane and get that track position back and get hooked up with that lead pack. The lead pack doesn't want any sort of that to happen as they have figured out where they want to be. As you see, the 19 of Nicholas Atwood get sent down the track as everybody had a run, so he's gonna slide in front of Tim Wortman Jr. on the bottom side. He allows him to slide in there, but that slows down that inside line tremendously. But he should get going once again here and close that gap on Jordan Schmeets, and we'll be back to 2x2 racing here. As that also caused the outside line to lose the car that was running in third position, as now Bikey has closed the gap, and they've got 3 nose to tail in that high line. Like Nicholas Atwood is running P7 right now after a little hiccup there. Like I said, we have one more pit stop that needs to be made. We'll see who's gonna come down and get it done first. If it's gonna be the lead group or if one of these other smaller packs are gonna go ahead and take a chance and come on down. We got Barry Sanders. Looks like the 74 of Paul Whitley. Darren Mullins back there as well. So these guys are a couple laps down, but Barry Sanders is on the lead lap, so he wants these guys to help him get him some track position so he can get back up to this lead group. Randy Mullins, Alex Coffey, Brandon Bikey, and Paul Gallimore up high. Chris Davis, Jordan Schmeets, Nicholas Atwood are on the bottom side. As Coffee gets a bad bump there from Brandon Bikey, has to send it down the track and gather it in. Randy Mullins elects to go to the bottom side, try and block that run that he knew was coming. And Chris Davis luckily sets his car right behind Randy Mullins as they were scattering everywhere like ants on a chip. We got Randy Mullins and Chris Davis now working together. Jordan Schmeets leading that bottom lane. You have the 15 of Alex Coffey back there as well. Guys are all over the track trying to get as much track position as they can as we're working through lap 31, headed to 32 here. 131 laps complete. These guys have kind of single filed out now after that little bump in the road. Tim Wortman Jr. is leading the bottom side with Chris Spear and the 69 of Jared Clark back there. We'll go back here and look. Looks like we've got Darren Mills and Jeff Carson came down pit lane, but Bender did not go down with him. So Bender is working with Darren Mills here. Would have thought that Bender would have stayed with the guys that were around him, but Jeff Carson came down and he is in pit. He's been in there for quite a while. Looks like he might have had some damage there to get fixed. So now it's going to be who's going to come down in this lead pack. I'm going to assume almost everybody's going to come down at the same time. They don't want to give up track position. Just look at this Martin Sports number 29 Toyota. All over the back of the Team Conti Chevy there. Just see how close these guys are driving to each other. Let's see if we can take a look back further in the field. Looks like Pemberton made his pit stop on lap 88, so they'll probably stay out for a little bit here. Jump back up and see Bender still on track, still getting pushed there by the 2 machine of Darren Mills. These guys have definitely settled down. Makes me wonder what the last 30 laps are going to be here in the Moonshiners Racing Cup Series as they close out Atlanta Motor Speedway. Paul Gallimore back in the pack, running P8. Chris James in 9th. Hunter Carmichael rounds out that top 10. We got Ryan Huff, Tim Wortman Jr., Jared Clark, Chris Spear. And then you go back and have quite a little gap here to Derek Pemberton, as he is the next car on the lead lap, running P15. He's over 10.5 seconds back of the lead pack. He does have Bender coming through here as well. Bender's about 2.5 seconds back from Pemberton as Kane Lee's trying to make the pass. Kane Lee pitted on lap 89, so you know he's going to have to come down as well. He's been working with the 10 of Warren Young, trying to get some track position back, but back up front it is still Randy Mullins, Chris Davis, Nicholas Atwood, and Alex Coffey. 25 laps to go here in Atlanta for the Moonshiners Racing Cup Series. Like Jeff Taylor just left the pits after getting some damage fixed up on that 23 Toyota. Like Derek Jacobs has called it a day, Jeff Chandler, Kyle Holden, Matt Mack, and Terry Atwood, Kenny Coppola, and Kendall LeBron lost power before the race started. Like we're starting to get a gap forming here. Like Alex Coffey is slowing down here. They got about 3 cars between himself and Nicholas Atwood. Brandon Bikey trying to figure out what in the world just happened as they were all in line working together, and now he has a little gap there as well. Matt Cox trying to close in on Bikey, see if they're gonna elect to make a run here or stay single files. They're gonna have to make some moves here if they want to win this race. Looks like Brandon Bikey was thinking about going to the inside, just didn't quite have enough momentum. Probably would if the rest of the field would have been right behind him, but it looks like they have caught the draft of Nicholas Atwood in the 19, so they're going to single file back out and try and make it a few more laps here before they head down and take that money stop. Looks like Bender's lost the draft here of the second group. Eric Pemberton, Kane Lee, Chris Spear, all. Well, Chris Spear's lost the draft of the lead pack. Kane Lee trying to make his way back towards the front, running P15 right now. Well, these guys are back in the field a little ways, but they're still battling for position. See Kane Lee, you have Pemberton there, and not too far behind them you have Bender. And then Barry Sanders, Dean Motley, about 10 seconds back from this group. They're starting to form a little 6 or 7 car pack here as well. Back up front, Randy Mullins is still leading them here. 20 laps to go. Go ahead and take a ride with the TV crew here as we go turn it up for a moment. Looks like we're probably going to have pit stops happening any moment now. I believe I heard some drivers on the radio calling for their pit stalls, pit crews to get ready. It looks like 54 is in, 29 is in. Everybody coming off the track trying to get down to pit road speed before they hit that yellow cone. And that's going to give the lead over to Brandon Bikey here. So you got Coffee, Hunter Carmichael, Nicholas Atwood, Chris Davis, Randy Mullins all coming down the same time. Brandon Bikey, Matt Cox, and Jordan Schmeets all still out on track with Paul Gallimore, Chris James, Ryan Huff, Tim Wortman Jr. Like Wortman Jr.'s kind of lost this draft a little bit as everybody came down pit lane. We'll see where everybody cycles out once they get rolling here. 14 to go. Mikey's still staying out. See how many laps he's going to go. Looks like he's starting to draw away from Matt Cox there as he gets sucked up into the draft of this next pack here. He's not going to want to go high, I don't believe, because I believe he's going to come down pit lane this time by. So we'll see where he's going to try and stay just behind these guys. Like he is. He had a run, but he's going to have to slow down and stay behind them so he can get down to pit road speed as he's going to pull off. Oh, he's not. And we are under caution. Let's see what happened here. Oh, the 12 got into the 11 of Paul Gallimore into the 93. Let's jump on board here. See what he saw from his point of view here in the cockpit. Oh, just nothing he could do. Didn't see the 11 slowing up. So that's gonna definitely reset the field here. See what's gonna happen as everybody makes their pit stops and gets cycles through and takes wave rounds. So with that, we're going to step aside. We'll go side by side. You won't miss anything, and we'll be back before they take the green flag. All right, we are back. We're going to have 9 laps to go when we take this green flag. Right now we have Tim Wortman Jr. up there with, who last pitted on lap 88. He's going to try and make it to the end as he has the button. Brandon Bikey just to his outside. Chris Spear, Jordan Schmeets, Derek Pemberton. And we are headed to the restart zone here. Like we have 13 cars on the lead lap as Tim Wortman Jr. gets us back underway here in the Moonshiners Cup Series for the 9-lap shootout. Brandon Bikey trying to hang on with Jordan Schmeets as these 3 guys are rolling through here. Tim Wortman Jr. stays down to the inside, going to let Bikey take the high side. Bikey and Schmeets working well together. As I'm going to say, almost everybody's probably going to take the high side and go by Tim Wortman Jr. as they go around behind him. The 91 of Kane Lee, the 69 involved, and we are under caution once again here. See if we can see what happened here with Kane Lee. Derek Pemberton there as well. John Bender. Well, Tim Wortman Jr. just went slow, and they were 3 wide behind him almost, and that's what's going to bring out this caution as everybody gets stacked up towards the back. So Tim Wortman Jr. staying out on old tires, took the track position, and wound up getting basically in front of a 3 wide assault from the back of the pack, and they had nowhere to go and sent him around. As Bender and Kane Lee kind of got into it there as they were trying to narrow up and give Wortman Jr. some room to get around the track. But we'll stack them back up here once again. I want to say thanks for everybody for tuning in for this 163 lap shootout that is the Moonshiners Cup Series here. Definitely want to give a shout out to Bad Racer there for getting that all fixed up for me. I'll do some more adjustments after the broadcast and be back with you guys next week from Las Vegas. We're definitely trying to work our way through the whole field there. So Bikey's going to have the button here on this restart. See what lane he's going to be in on when he's going to try and get going. Going to go a little early or not. He's down on the bottom side. Jordan Schmeets to his high side. Chris Spear, Derek Pemberton, John Bender back there as well. Barry Sanders inside the top 6 right now. Matt Cox also working his way back up. And you got Gallimore back here with Coffee. Chris James. Tim Wortman Jr. made his pit stop. Came out in 11th. Chris Davis, Kane Lee also getting back out on track are both of those drivers. Head down the backstretch. They're going to get locked, get set, and let's close this out as we're going to take the green with 5 laps to go here at Atlanta. Bikey with the button. It's going to be, when will he take off? Bikey with the button. Pace car is in. We are locked and loaded and ready to set them free here in the Moonshiners Cup League as Brandon Bikey gets a good jump. Chris Spear with a push as they are side by side for second. Jordan Schmitz, Spear, Barry Sanders also back there. And Matt Cox wants to get back up towards the front where he started. Derek Pemberton jumps down to the high side. Bender trying to stay out of the way here as he was getting a little bit of a bad push there from Gallimore. 15 of Alex Coffey looking 3 wide in the middle, and he is going to get stuck there. That is not where he wants to be either as Wortman Jr. goes by. Up front, it's still Brandon Bikey, Chris Spear in the bottom lane. We've got Bikey, Schmitz, and Bender up front on the high line as we have 4 laps to go here in the Moonshiners Cup League from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Barry Sanders trying to work his way back after being involved in a couple incidents. Biggest mover of the race, though, is sitting in P3 right now, and that is Bender as he is up 35 spots. 3 laps to go. We've got Bikey, Schmitz, Bender, Gallimore, James, Lee, Wortman, as Chris Spear is all of a sudden off the pace and down towards the back. It's like there was a huge misstep there as now Barry Sanders is also just outside the top 10 trying to get back into it. Bikey, Schmitz, Bender, Gallimore all locked up here nose to tail. 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air as they come down the back stretch. Bikey gets a big push there from the 4 as Bender goes down to the inside. Matt Cox is trying to close in and help Bender get to the front. Side by side for third they go. And Cox pulls out, and he's going to try and take the position as Bender goes backwards. So now we have Bikey, Schmitz, and Gallimore. White flag in the air for Brandon Bikey, leader and winner of stage 1. See if he's going to be the winner of the race here at Atlanta. Jordan Schmitz in second, Gallimore third. James Coffey also back there. Pemberton now trying to make his way up here. Haven't seen him all race. Gallimore with the lead, and Paul Gallimore is going to win here at Atlanta. The 12 of Chris James for second, and Brandon Bikey is going to bring home P3. Not quite the finish that we saw in the Cup Series race on Sunday, but close enough as they were all within 7 thousandths of a second here from first to third. But Gallimore's going to get the race win here. So as he gets to burn it down, let's see if we can get the drivers up here in the chat. We get Brandon up here in the booth. Hey, Brandon, Mike up in the booth, man. Not quite where you wanted to talk to me from, but you battled back out of P3 here. How was it racing out there?
You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, perfect. Yeah, it was awesome, man. We had a great time. I'm perfectly content here. We had BMP in the top 4 positions, so I love it.
Yeah, definitely looked like you guys were set up pretty good, especially once that inside line had that little checkup there. Looked like you were gonna just stay nose to tail and win the race, but Paul pulled out and was able to get the W. But heck of a race for you anyway. You got a stage win this week, and looking forward to Las Vegas. How do you think that's going to go for you?
I think, I love the 1.5, 2 mile tracks. I think those are going to be so fun, and they're kind of my specialty. So I love those. Daytona, Atlanta here. That's kind of a crapshoot. So we've gotten a little bit lucky with decent finishing spots for both of those. So can't be upset with that. But yeah, man, what a heck of a run from Paul, dude. That was awesome. He had a great pass, and then he had a 3-car tandem there at the end. That was awesome.
Yeah, you guys were definitely putting on a show this week. Congrats on your P3 finish. Anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here?
100%. Yeah, I want to thank all the Beast Mode Performance guys. There's too many to name in here, but everybody at that team is just amazing. Kenny Coppola with the setups, and Paul on his first win here. So this is awesome. And I want to thank my wife. She always supports me. My dad watches a lot of these races. My friend Bryce. So everybody that's in my support system, appreciate all that. So.
Definitely, man. Well, it looks like there might be a review here. Haven't heard from the admins yet, but of where Paul actually passed you there on the track. So might have to improve your position a couple of places, but we'll see what happens after they review it at this week here.
I hope they give it to him. He earned it. He passed me. I won't be mad if they do. But either way, we'll whatever happens. So thanks, guys, for the broadcast. You guys do a great job. I love rewatching it after the race.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Talk to you later.
All right, you too.
All right, let's see if we can get second place up here in the booth. Hey, Chris, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Hey, Mike. It's going.
Well, you had a heck of a run there at the end. I mean, you guys were kind of set up to basically sweep the podium here. It looks like you guys were able to do that, but how was it racing out there those final 10 laps or so?
I tell you what, I hate that I finished P2 because of what I did at the end of that race. There was some miscommunication, and yeah, Paul yelled it out that he was pitting, and I was just so zoned in on his bumper for like the last 50 or whatever laps. And I didn't realize, okay, they're pitting until right at the last second, and I moved out of the way, and Ryan Huff was there, and I feel absolutely terrible. I destroyed his car. Thought I screwed up Paul's chances. I think he got a little damage, and so the race was great up to that point, and then I just freaking got on the short bus. So I feel terrible. I'll take the result. I hate it. I'm so glad right there at the end that Paul got down in front. I said, okay, cool, now I can push him to the win, because I probably had a chance for anything. I didn't even want to do anything after. I still feel terrible. I'm sorry, Ryan Huff.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things that when you're coming to pit lane, you have to check up pretty quickly there, especially here at Atlanta. But you're able to, all you guys were able to bounce back and finish basically first through fourth is what it looked like. So congrats on your P2 finish. Anybody want to thank before we get you out here tonight?
Yeah, I thank my Beast Mode teammates, Team Watson Racing Setups, you guys in the booth. Very fun, a great league. And my wife for letting me race.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again, and maybe we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Yep. All right, that was P2, but let's get to the man of the hour here, the race winner. Hey, Paul, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
What's happening, Mike?
Well, heck of a run there. Seemed to find yourself up front most of the night. Had a little hiccup there for a little bit, but you guys came back and you were able to bring home the victory.
Yeah, horrible first stage, but I flipped the stages there. I flipped onto the second stage. I pitted a little early at the end of that first stage. under one of those cautions to get some track position, and was able to keep it after that. Just worked great with all the BMP guys, Brandon Schmeets, Chris James, Mike, Cox, all them boys. Nick ran a hell of a race too up there. Chris Davis, he stayed up there. We were all running really well, so I was real proud of the teams as a whole.
Yeah, definitely look like you guys were set up there to have a good finish. Couple cautions kind of gave it a little, I'll say, a different feeling at the end of the race, but you guys were still 3 wide trying to come to the finish line, so heck of a job there to bring home the W.
Yeah, I know it's under review or whatever. I honestly didn't even know I was down there. I was just I knew I was going to take a shot on corner exit, and I was like, I need to get this thing as straight as possible before I take that hit, because if I've got wheel in it, I'm going to wad us all up. And that was the last. I wanted to try to get a good finish, like they had on TV the other day, and I was trying to make it good. But if they take it, they do. It's up to them. I mean, I ain't worried about it. I know I won this damn thing, so it was fun as hell. And this would be my first Moonshiners race win if I'm able to, hang in there with it. If not, we'll try again next week.
Definitely, man. Speaking of next week, how do you feel headed into Vegas?
Super great about Vegas, actually. I'll be glad to get away from these draft tracks. Kenny and the boys, I've got a good set for that. So I've been running some officials this week, and it feels really good. And I'm looking forward to getting away from this tandem draft and stuff for the we ran the last 2 weeks. We can put it in the hands of the drivers now and go make some noise and hopefully put on a good show for you and everybody else out there.
Definitely, Matt. Well, congrats on your race win, and maybe we'll talk to you next week. Anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here completely?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I want to thank everybody at BMP, all the boys, Kenny, and everybody over there that helps me out. Brandon, everybody over there, Chris, Shane, everybody that just does such a great job over there, period. Of course, I want to thank Sim Sport Gadget, great 3D printed products for your sim rig. Also, Martin Sports Racing Apparel. Look them up online.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats once again. Maybe we'll talk to you next week after Vegas.
All right, thank you. Thank you, man.
All right, so as you said, it is under review or what have you, but these guys put on a heck of a show here. Let's see if we can go ahead and get through the race results from Atlanta. Paul Gallimore with the win, Chris James second, Brandon Bikey third, Jordan Schmeets, Derek Pemberton, Alex Coffey round out that top 6. Matt Cox battles back for P7, Barry Sanders as well for P8. Tim Wortman Jr., Kane Lee round out that top 10. Chris Davis, Chris Spear, John Bender, Dean Motley, Justin Belmonte, Hunter Carmichael, Warren Young, and Nigel Christensen round out the top 18. 19th is Johnny Shade, Shane Davis, Randy Mullins finishes 21st after that terribly timed caution. Jared Clark, Nicholas Atwood, Darren Mills, Jeff Carson, Aaron Matthews, Paul Whitley, Ryan Huff round out that top 28. Going back to 29th with Jamison Middle Miss, Darren Mullins, Caden Nofree, Jeff Taylor, Steven Gibson, Nick King, Chad Sullivan, Blaine Wilson, Jeff Chandler, Derek Jacobs. We got Kyle Holden, Matt Mackin, Terry Atwood, Kenny Coppola, and Kendall Levron round out the field here of 42 drivers that took part in Atlanta. Well, that was a heck of a race. I want to thank Bad Racer for the help there. Have any other stuff in the Discord for Moonshiners, just hit me up. I'll glad to learn from anybody as we wrap it up here from Atlanta. Heck of a race as we get rid of these drafting tracks. A lot of these drivers are probably had enough of it, especially with officials and league races all being Daytona and Atlanta the last couple weeks. Head to Las Vegas and see what these drivers can put on there. But from all the drivers of the Moonshiners Cup Series and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night, and I will see you next time.